fingers for when he's producing. It's what the MF stands for. Sometimes he's just called Doom. He's also gone by Zevlov X, King Ghidorah, Victor Vaughn, and Daniel Dumoulin, which is his real name. MF Doom, actual name Daniel Dumoulin, was born in London, July 13th, 1971. In his early childhood, he was moved to New York, where he would stay, although he was not an American citizen. Here, he would gain his knack for comic books. At 17, he would first start rapping as Zevlov X in the group KMD with his brother Subrock. Here, he would release his first album, Mr. Hood, to good reception. 2 years later, right before their next album, Subrock was hit and killed by a car. Alone, Daniel would finish the album. Then, due to controversial album art and lyrics, it was dropped by their record label, remaining unpublished until 2001. Poor and unsure of what to do, Daniel went MIA in Manhattan from 1994 to 1997. In 1997, Daniel started rapping with tights over his head to conceal his identity at open mic events in Manhattan. This is where he adopted his MF Doom moniker. In 1999, MF Doom would now don a plastic Dr. Doom mask from the show Fantastic Four and return to the game by releasing Operation Doomsday, his first album as MF Doom. With his new unique flow, the album garnered critical acclaim. Starting 2001, Metal Fingers would begin releasing his Special Herbs series. Special Herbs are instrumentals from past and future records, as well as unheard beats. There would be 10 volumes to 2005, and they were called Special Herbs because of their track names like Saffron, MSG, and Calamus Root. His next project would be released in 2003 called Take Me to Your Leader, under the name King Ghidorah. In this project, he would lay back producing for the whole album, but only rapping on 2 tracks, leaving the rest of the work to guest rappers. This project would be much more experimental, with alien-sounding instrumentals over crazy rhyming. In the same year, he would release Vaudeville Villain, a more grounded, but similarly great album. This time, he switched roles with guest producers and rapping on nearly every track. A sequel called Villainous Villain would be released in 2004. In 2004, Doom's not arguably best album was released, called Mad Villainy. Teaming up with Madlib from the same record label to produce for the album was a wise idea, creating the most densely lyrical, strongest vibing rap album of all time. This critically acclaimed album, with instantly recognizable cover art, is a must-listen for any veteran or newbie hip-hop head. Doom's son, Ezekiel, would be born in late 2003. MF Doom's third album of 2004 was Food, an anagram of his name. This was another back-to-back, solid project in his discography. Mainly keeping with a lighthearted food theme, he still spits non-repetitive and sometimes comedic bars one after another. In 2005, Doom would end his onslaught of albums and start to work on more collaborations. His only release of that year would be The Mouse and the Mask, a collab with producer Danger Mouse. This was his goofy album, and not giving it much thought to problems like he did in the past. It was also his goofy album because Adult Swim had backed the project, inspiring them to work together. His next release would be 4 years out as Born Like This, a more villainous take on subjects than in previous records. It sets an eerie tone by using poems from Charles Bukowski, a crazy pessimistic poet. The album did not garner many good reviews from critics because it's not as good as his past work. In 2010, Doom went on a tour out in London. After the tour was complete, he was barred entry from the United States, as he was not a citizen. He would be separated from his wife and kid for 2 years until they made it across the water. In 2012, Doom and Janira Jarrell, a producer, released Keys to the Cuffs out of London. A very mediocre project, but still a moment in his discography. In 2014, Doom and Bishop Nehru released Nehruvian Doom, another lackluster project as Doom was taking the background. In 2018, he collaborated to create Czarface meets Metalface, again, just another project. On December 31st, 2020, Doom's wife announced his death. That was on October 31st, 2 months prior. This came to shock many as he was still working on projects with producers like Flying Lotus, and he was not known to be ill at the time. It is unknown how he died. Currently, we are waiting on news for unreleased tracks, and we do not know if we'll be seeing Doom's unfinished work anytime soon. Doom has inspired many rappers with his densely packed, unique, bar-bending style. Many rappers have tweeted or otherwise voiced their love for Doom. Childish Gambino has said in an interview, "When I was in college, that's all I listened to, freshman year, sophomore year." Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt nearly broke down when they saw Doom's live performance and got pictures with him. Mos Def has said in the past, "I bet $1 million on Doom against Lil Wayne." And a day after the news of Doom's death, he released a tribute. Open Mike Eagle said, "I have to be careful with his flow because it lives in my mind and in my heart." Doom's metal face inspired many, not through his appearance, but through his intricate bars. That's exactly why he wore the mask. To prove that rhyming and lyrical skill had place in hip-hop and not just flaunting wealth. On the track Figaro, Doom has said,
"The rest is empty with no brain, but the clever nerd, the best MC with no chain you ever heard."
Using multi-syllable rhymes at the end of every bar with no breaks or hooks gained him a spot in everyone's head as your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. When it came to making music, Doom was like no other. Rarely ever using a hook or chorus in his 20-plus year career, he was non-repetitive and left all his tracks with replayability. The name of Doom's game is unpredictability. Once you've listened to all the tracks 10 times, you still can't predict what he's going to say, and even still, memorization can be difficult. Doom made his tracks unpredictable with tricks like multi-syllable rhymes and stepping over the bar line. Multi-syllable rhymes can be found through Doom's whole discography with examples like
So nasty that it's probably somewhat of a travesty having me. Then he told the people, "You can call me your majesty."
and
He's at it again, mad at the pen, glad.
Doom also has his own unique style, not caring about the bar line, which can be confusing at first. A good example of this would be on the track Accordion, through the lines,
ICE cold, nice to be old. Y2GC twice to threefold. He sold scrolls, low and behold. Know who's the illest ever, like the greatest story told.
Doom's oddity style can seem intimidating, but has inspired composers and listeners to think outside the box and not conform to conditional rule. The sources, YouTube links, Vox video, I'm missing